What is up, guys? TZ here with another MLB The Show 17 video. And I just recently went over hitting tips, and now I'm going to go over some pitching tips for you guys. In today's video, again, we're just in practice mode. I got Clayton Kershaw on the mound. So just so I can show you some stuff, and it's a lot easier than if I was in an actual game. So first thing I want to go over is your settings. So we're actually going to pause the game real quick. We're going to go to, can you go? Yep. We're going to gameplay options, pitching difficulty, that doesn't matter. This is what I want to talk about. The interface, pure analog, I think is the way to go. I know like some people like the meter pitching because that's how baseball games have been forever, but pure analog is just much better, much easier to hit your spots. Sometimes with meter pitching, you'll get a perfect everything and it'll go nowhere where you wanted it to. I've seen videos of people hitting batters on perfect releases and stuff like that. So I really think if you want to be the best player possible, you should go with pure analog pitching. Now, next is, I'm not sure where it is, but somewhere there's different views. Now, people like different views. I don't think there's any problem with any of them. I like the view behind the pitcher. I usually use pitcher offset, I believe is what it's called. Some people like strike zone. That's kind of all personal preference, but the actual interface you should use, I think, should be analog if you really want to be the best. Now, with the analog, something I want to talk about is, as you can see, if I move this pitch, like you can see the hoop changes, like where the location of the hoop is. You don't have to go straight back. So if your spot's over here, you can do a diagonal. Obviously, I can't show you guys, but you can do a diagonal. So it is kind of straight. So you're going back instead of having to curve it up. That's something some people don't know. They think you got to go straight back and then forward. As my controller's about to die. Every time I go to record, my controller's about to die. Every damn time. So that's just something, you know, kind of simple, but play around with it a little bit. You don't have to go straight back. And something else you should play around with is your placement of your thumb on the joystick. Now, you don't have to do it in like a traditional, put your like the middle of your thumb just on top of it. I kind of like to use the side of my thumb almost. So that's another thing. Play around with, find something you're comfortable with. I've seen people even like to kind of hold the controller with like 3 fingers, or hold the joystick with like 3 fingers and pitch like that. I'm not saying you should do that, but just play around with your thumb placement. Find something that's comfortable for you and really works for you. You don't have to do it in like a traditional holding the controller type of way. Now, again, as with hitting, with pitching, and with really most sports games in general, and I guess really a lot of video games, you want to play them at high levels, a lot of it is mental. So going into this a little bit, know your opponent's tendencies. So right off the bat, you should be taking mental notes the whole game. Do they like to swing at low changeups? Do they sit on the fastball almost every pitch? Can they not hit a curveball? Are they looking curveball with 2 strikes all the time? Are they looking away when they have a righty against a lefty? Are they looking in? Everything like that. Just take mental notes of what their tendencies are, and that'll really pay off down the line in games. Now, maybe not so much Battle Royale, which is only a 3-inning game, but even that can still help. But definitely just regular ranked seasons. Going down the line, once you get to like the 5th inning, they're going to start to figure you out a little bit, but you're going to have them figured out, and you're going to know how to adjust. So, huge, very important. I mean, you can only pitch like so well, you can only hit your spots. If you're not throwing the right pitches at the right time, they're still going to hit you. They're still going to, if they know what's coming, they're going to hit you no matter what. Now, going along with that is mixing up your pitches. And now, that sounds very simple, but it's a lot more complex than you might think. You think, oh, they were early on an inside fastball, I should throw a changeup. Well, yeah, that's what you would think, but maybe if you can take notes of their tendencies the whole games, you might know, oh, now they're going to sit changeup, let me go right back to the up and in fastball, and they're going to be late this time. So mixing up pitches isn't a traditional, you know, just looking at their feedback, oh, fastball, changeup, no, not like that. Mixing up your pitches is taking note of the feedback too. Definitely look at the feedback, but also look at what they've been doing the whole game and how they've been reacting to different situations and different pitches. Now, going along with that is know how to attack righties and lefties, and this is a kind of pitcher specific based on what pitches your pitcher has, but you can know, like, there's basic pitches that you can go do against lefties and righties. We have a righty up right now. So a good pitch against a righty, if you have a lefty on the mound, is a slider at the back foot slider. That's a pitch you can always go to. You know, change up away is a pitch you can always go to. But beyond that, know how to attack them with your specific pitchers, and that goes into something else I wanted to talk about is practice with your pitchers and know how to use them creatively. So a guy like Kershaw right here, he has a slider, but a lot of times I like to put this up here and use it like a cutter. So that's how I like to attack. That was a bad one. As you can see, you definitely can't hang it. But know how to use your different pitchers. Go into practice mode and practice with them. Play around with them a little bit. Get used to their windups and stuff like that so you got good control with them. But then figure out how you want to use them. So again, like that changeup away is a great pitch. But then I can go with this slider that I use as a cutter because it's a nice hard slider. It's almost 90 miles an hour. I think he can even hit 90 on it. And again, I throw a bad one. Not that bad, but I kind of want to get that pitch in. But be creative with pitchers. Find things that might not work, maybe even in real life, but work great in the game. Or things that, like Kershaw, he wouldn't really throw the slider as a cutter in real life, but I can do that in the game. So it's like another weapon. It's almost like another pitch. It's almost like giving him a fifth pitch. Let me just look at my list right here. With getting creative too, don't be afraid to throw kind of strange pitches like front door sliders, front door cutters, a lot of backdoor pitches. Just because if you're throwing the basic pitches over and over again, your opponent is going to start to get a read on you if they're a good player. So mix up your pitches, be creative, be one step ahead of your opponent at all times. And going along with that, I'm going to talk about finding their weakness. You might play some guys that you're like, God damn, they are hitting absolutely everything. They're taking every ball. How do I pitch this guy? How do I pitch to this guy? And sometimes they might just be really damn good and they might be having a really good day and you're kind of screwed, or you got to beat them in a slugfest, get a little lucky or something like that. But other times, they might have a weakness that you just haven't found yet. So if some guy's really, smacking you around a little bit, experiment with different things. See if you can find a weakness in their game and exploit that. And once they adjust to that, then it will open up the rest of the pitches you were trying to go to or want to go to. That's very important. I can't tell you how many times I played a guy that I'm like, holy crap, the first couple innings, he's just smacking the ball around. Maybe I've only given up a couple runs because I've gotten lucky. He's hit the warning track a couple times. But then I find something, I'm like, wow, he really can't hit this pitch. And I'll abuse it for a little bit and eventually start catching on. But then I start mixing it up. And then now I'm one step ahead of him again. And now I can go back to pitching effectively. Can't tell you how many times that's happened. So, maybe sometimes they'll just keep hitting you. Maybe it's their day. That shit happens. It's baseball. But sometimes you will find a weakness in them, and you will be able to exploit them, and then you will be able to pitch to them. I know sometimes it's frustrating when guys are just all over everything, but pretty much everyone in this game has a weakness, myself included, probably yourself included too. Everyone probably except the best of the best players have a weakness in this game, so look to find that probably sooner rather than later, but if you can find it at some point in the game, you're in good shape. Now, that's a lot of the tips I wanted to give. One that's a little bit different is go to your bullpen early. I don't care why guys leave their starters in as long as they do. The more times they get to see your starter, just the more and more likely they are to get a hit. And I know your stamina does go down in ranked seasons, but I can use my bullpen all the freaking time. Then eventually you get a guy that'll quit, so you get their stamina back up. So don't be afraid to go to your bullpen early. I go to my if I can get 5 innings out of my starter, I'm happy. If I get 6, I'm ecstatic. And then the only way I'm really leaving him in there longer than that is if he, first of all, is absolutely dealing. Like I'm talking like no-hitter type of dealing. Or if it's a blowout and I'm just saving my bullpen and the opponent's not quitting. But besides that, I'm usually going to my bullpen, playing the matchups. Also, get yourself a good bullpen. I think that might even be more important, than your starters. You can find a lot of good budget options, but look to invest in a couple high-end guys because I think they'll really pay off for you. Because your starters, I've used so many of them in this game, and there's just not that many good starters in the game right now, to be honest with you. Outside of probably Chris Sale, I don't think there's a single other starter in this game that I've used. And maybe I'm not the best pitcher or anything like that, but I don't think there's a single other starter that I've used. I just know every time they take the mound, it's going to be a pretty dominant performance. Chris Sale is the only guy. And with that said, go pick yourself up Chris Sale. He's an absolute animal. So tough to hit. Now, my final tip is don't always look for the guys with the best ratings. Look for guys that you're comfortable with pitching with. Yeah, I know Kershaw's 99 overall, but he's not. I have him. He's my 4th starter right now. He's not my favorite pitcher by any means. Actually, he's my third starter, excuse me. He's interchangeable with Madison Bumgarner to me. Madison Bumgarner's stats aren't nearly as good, but for whatever reason, I pitch just as well with him. Chris Sale, yes, he's a 95 overall, but he plays like a 99 plus for me. A guy like that 99 Bob Feller, I do not like. There's other guys that are very highly rated that I do not like. So go, play around with the guys. Find guys that you have success with. Don't just look at the ratings. A lot of pitching is personal preference and finding guys that you're comfortable with. The ratings, yes, they are important. They do help. But it's not the be-all, end-all. Anyway, I hope I helped you guys out. If there's any other questions you have about pitching, let me know down in the comment section. I'll be sure to answer them for you. And if there's any other videos or tips that you guys want to see, also let me know. I'll try to get those out for you soon. But anyway, that's it for the video. I'll be coming back at you with more gameplay, pack openings, all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that, and I am out. Peace.